Hello, this is Kerwin, and welcome to an episode of Travel Talk. And today we're going to be talking about how do we get access to airport lounges? Let's go. So there's a question I do get from time to time about how do I get access to airport lounges? The lounge behind me, this is actually the X-Team Lounge, which is in Paris Charles de Gaulle, and it's in Terminal 2 Charlie, I think it's in. Um, so this lounge, how do I get access to this particular lounge? Well, let's start at the top. With airlines, you can get access to the lounges. It's actually very complex. Sometimes if you look, you will see that they have these binders that are this thick, and they go through the binders, and it tells them, like, well, if you have this card, this is where you go. If you have this card with this ticket on this day and it's purple today, then you can get in the lounge. I mean, it's really ridiculous how strict it is. So typically, I guess if we start at the top, it's easier. If you buy a first or business class ticket, typically the airline will have some form of lounge access that comes with that. And this is usually very easy. You have the business class ticket and you go. Well, I say it's easy because sometimes it depends on where you're going. So in the US, if you're flying like business class, but you're going to the Caribbean, you don't have access to the lounge. But if you're going to, say, Mexico City, you have access to the lounge because Mexico City is a business destination. But if you're going to Cancun, you do not. And it's very, like I said, it's very weird. But normally when you buy the ticket, it should tell you what you get with that particular business class ticket or first class ticket you're buying. Some airlines are really good about it, like Cathay Pacific in Hong Kong. You get to pick which lounge you want to use, and they have all these different types of lounges that I think it's called the pair, and there's like two or three others that you can use with your first class ticket. So some airlines really go above and beyond, like in Singapore Airlines. In Singapore, they have a special lounge that you can use as a first or business class customer. Lufthansa has a whole, if you go in first class out of Frankfurt or Munich, there's like a whole facility that caters just to you and your needs as a first class passenger. Some will even pick you up with a car that will take you from the facility to the airport, and you never see anybody else in the plane except the ones that are sitting in your cabin. And they're restricted, so when you board, you only board only if you're sitting in the first class part of the airplane. You get to board through that door. Otherwise, you have to board through the other door. And unless you have a ticket in first class, you can't turn left. You have to go right. So it just depends. So some airlines are very good about that. The other piece of that is, so that takes care of the class. If you're in first or business, typically you're okay. It gets grayer when you start doing the other classes. Now, for example, the lounge behind me, I was able to access this lounge because I am American Airlines Platinum, and I'm flying on Finnair, and Finnair is a partner for American Airlines because they're in One World. And there are three major alliances: One World, SkyTeam, and Star Alliance. And I will have a video that explains all the different airlines that are in there. But you'd think they wouldn't be changing, but they are changing at the moment as we speak. So you get and I got access because in One World there is two levels, Ruby and Sapphire. And Ruby is higher, and Sapphire, because I guess Ruby's a better stone than Sapphire. But in Sapphire, I'm Sapphire, One World Sapphire. So that means that I can access lounges for any other airline except the airline that gave me the status. So I got the status from American, but I can't use Admirals Club. But I can use British Airways terraces. I can use the Finnair Lounge, like in this case, and I was also able to use one in Helsinki, which is much nicer than this one. But this one is called the X-Team Lounge. It is a lounge that's run, I think it's run by the airport for the One World carriers, because British Airways and Iberia and stuff like that could also use that, a sign outside that you could use it. And so that's the other thing. It was actually printed on my ticket that it actually said British Air, it said One World Sapphire and American Advantage Platinum. And so when I looked it up, it said, yes, I could use that X-Team Lounge. And I'll get into the how do you know where the lounges are, etc. But that's how I was able to get into this lounge. So I got in that lounge because of the status I had with the airline, which is the other way that you can get into any of the lounges. So again, if you're in SkyTeam, it would be a SkyTeam Elite or SkyTeam Elite Plus. And if you're in Star Alliance, you'll be Star Alliance Gold. And then with Star Alliance Gold, you can access the different lounges for the partner airlines, not the airline that gave you the status. So United is a partner. If United gave you a gold status and you become Star Alliance Gold, you can't use the United Club, but you can use the Singapore Airlines Lounge in Singapore because you're Star Alliance Gold, or you can use the Lufthansa Lounge in Frankfurt or the Turkish Airline Lounge in Washington Dulles because you are Star Alliance Gold. So that takes care of the status side of things. So this is why it's important to get status if you want to be able to use the lounges, because you do save quite a bit of money. Let me take a little sip of tea. So that takes care of the status side of things. The other way to get into the lounge is using a credit card, which is what a lot of people do. How do you use a credit card? So if you have a MasterCard actually have a series of lounges around the world where all you need to do is be a Mastercard customer. You show your MasterCard and you go. There's one in Madrid. Madrid Airport has one of those lounges. There's not a lot of them, but if you look it up, you can find out where all those lounges are located. If you have a Diners Club card, Diners Club used to be big. It's not big anymore, but Diners Club also have access to Diners Club lounges around the world. Then there's the American Express. American Express Platinum cards and the Black card have access to lounges worldwide as well. The American Express has their own lounge, which is the Centurion lounges, and they've had a lounge in Buenos Aires for the longest time, even before they started building Centurion lounges in the U.S. And so you'll find the Centurion lounges like there is in there's a Denver, the Dallas, the Houston, San Francisco, LA, JFK, LaGuardia, Seattle, Miami. Those airports have the Centurion lounges. I think I mentioned Heathrow, right? Because Heathrow does have one. So you can get to the lounges there. And in addition to having that, they have what's called Priority Pass. Priority Pass is a company that you can buy a lounge access straight from Priority Pass. You can either buy a carte blanche that says I can use any of the lounges anytime I want, or you can buy a pay-as-you-go, and then you pay whatever fee plus every time you go, you pay like $35 or something like that. So if you don't travel enough to justify the cost of the card, then you can just do the pay-as-you-go feature. You still have to pay a one-time price for the card, but then you pay each time you need to use a lounge. So American Express gives you one of those cards, one of the Priority Pass cards, and as I go along, I'll tell you that the airlines that do. So that's one card that you can do. Another card is the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and the Chase Sapphire Reserve will also give you the option offer priority pass card as well. And now Chase is building their own lounges now. I think the first one they have is in Boston, and I checked it out. It's like, it's not too bad. I mean, it has a nice location, good views, and things like that. That's what the other thing about these lounges. They tend to have like the best seat in the house, so you can really get a good view of the airplanes taking off and landing if that's your thing. It's my thing, as you probably realized by now. And so that's how you can use those lounges. Well, the Chase Lounge. The other one is Capital One. Capital One has just opened the lounge in Dallas, and you have to have a specific Capital One. I think it's like a Venture X card, I think, but it's a specific Capital One card that you have that gives you access to that lounge. There's no extra charges, so part of it. The other thing is the Chase Presidential Plus card by United. They no longer offer that card, but that card gave you access to the United Club as a part of the membership. But United has other credit cards that would give you access to the club as well. I think that probably takes care of the other thing too, that it's not just those like British Airways has a credit card that will give you that type of access. So depends on the airline you're with. Their credit cards will give you access to the lounges, and usually it's the lounges in there. Like the United card gives you access to the United Club, and also to the Starlines lounges around, as long as you show your United Club card and your same day departure tickets. So we talked about status. Then we talked about just buying the ticket that you bought. The ticket that you bought, status, credit cards, and the other thing is you can just pay your way in. So let's say you're in the airport and you want to use a lounge, you just pay a day pass. And some airlines will give you a day pass so you can use all the lounges in their system during that day because you're connecting, or you pay just to use that particular lounge, is how that piece would work. And so that's how you get into lounges. In addition, some airlines will require that you will, the Chase card also gives you a priority pass. Some airlines will require that you have to have a same day boarding pass. Used to be, I could use my United Club card, which I got through my credit card relationship. And I could use any ticket from any airline. Well, they stopped that because they said they had overcrowding. So they had to stop that. So now, in order for me to use my United Club card, I have to be flying on United or Starlines carrier. So the problem I have is that when I fly American Airlines a lot because I'm platinum on them. And so when I fly American Airlines, I don't have any lounge access, except for American Express, because I have the platinum card. But I can't use American Airlines' lounge. I can't use Admiral Club because I don't have a credit card that gives me access, and I don't have a membership to the Admirals Club, and I'm not buying a pass of $50 a day because it's not worth it for me. That is a lot of money to spend unless I'm going to be in there all day, and which is usually not the case. Although a few days ago, I was in the airport for a very long time, so I probably could have used one then. So I hope this helps to give you an idea of how lounge access work and how to get lounge access the next time you travel. So if you have any other question, I'm sure I missed something because, like I said, it's very complex. Because like I said, there is the lounges that, like, there's a Star Alliance lounge. And so to get into Star Alliance lounge, again, you need a ticket on a Star Alliance carrier, and you need Star Alliance Gold status. Or of course, if you're trying business or first class, and you can use those. There is actually one there used to be one in Los Angeles. I don't think it's there anymore. Trying to think of where there was another one. There used to be a Sky Team used to have a lounge in London Heathrow. And it's the same type of thing. You have to have a Sky Team ticket, and you have to be Sky Team Elite Plus. If you're going, say, with KLM, and you're Sky Team Elite Plus, then you can use a KLM Crown Lounge in Amsterdam. If you are flying out of Houston, for example, you can use the KLM Crown Lounge in Houston if, excuse me, if you have a priority pass, because the priority pass lounge you can use for that one. Priority pass, how it works is doesn't matter what ticket you have as long as they accept priority pass, and you'll see a sign outside that tells you what they accept. There's like a lot of different lounge access. Some are actually run by the airport, and you have to buy access for those. The other airport lounge that most don't think about is it's called USO. This is for United, I think it's US. I can't remember the mean of US, but it's for officers. It's for people in the military, in essence, and they're at the airports. But you have to be military to get access to them. So that's the other lounge. And some of the airports actually run. Some of the lounges are run by the airports, and they will take priority pass, or you can pay to access them. And there's like there's Club DFW, and there's like Club LAS. It's the same company that runs them, and they have priority pass. They still have the departure lounge side of things, which means you have to be departing, and you have to be the 3 hours. Some airports don't have that 3 hour and departing restriction. It doesn't matter. You can use the lounge whether you're departing or arriving. Sometimes when you travel, like when you go to London, some of the lounges in London will allow you as arrival. And then it's great because you just get off a transatlantic flight, you have the transatlantic grime on you. You can go to breakfast and you can take a shower, you can relax, and you can get on the train and go to whatever you have to do in the city. So those actually really work really well. The other ways that when you travel first for business and you arrive, they'll give you a little arrival card, and you present that card to the lounge, and the lounge will allow you to get in that way. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions about lounges and how to get access, if I didn't cover something, because trust me, I didn't cover everything, because there's so many different ways to get into lounges, but these are the typical ones that people will encounter as you travel. So this is Kerwin with PassFrazzle.com, cruisenaut.com, for another episode of Travel Talk. Have a great trip.